so much, Faisal, for keeping the desk and locking it down all day long. But it is crunch time. It is the grand final here, the eMLS Cup 2024. Two competitors who are debuting this season, but certainly do not look like they are new faces in this league. They look like they've been here for years, as mainstays, as furniture almost. But two competitors who could definitely walk away as the victor. It is so difficult to call which way this is going to go, Mike. We joke about it in predictions, but both of these players are in form right now.
I mean, you look at it, I can read off the stats. I'm just so impressed with the results, the consistency, the continuity, how they've grown into the events and the setup of those events between having the mix of MLS players, the budget limitations or restrictions or the squad rules. And then I think they both looked better in person than they looked online. And I think that was a big question mark coming into this. Whether you're a fan of Jafonso, you're a fan of K1John or the both of them, we didn't know if it was going to translate to land, and it has.
Well, the stage is set, the trophy is upon it, but someone has to lift it. It's the grand finals here of the eMLS Cup 2024. Inter Miami versus New England Revolution. K1John versus Jafonso. It's going to be K1John kicking from left to right in, of course, the traditional pink strip of Inter Miami, and Jafonso from right to left for New England. They faced against each other 3 times this season. The first time it was 8-2 to Jafonso, the second time 6-3 to Jafonso, and the third 3-2 to Jafonso. One thing I learned from that, though, Mike, is K1John has been getting closer and closer every single time they play.
And if there was a day that he was going to do it, surely it would be today, just based on his form.
Well, an early attack maybe for Jafonso here. Nodded down into Mbappe's path, but easily and quickly distributed away, but then does give the ball away here as Mbappe tries to rescue it. K1John just needs to be careful, maybe a few nerves at the back here, but now he can settle down. And
I love the inclusion, and we've seen this as a reoccurring theme, and definitely a regular in the lineup when we're talking about Jafonso, but Cole Palmer as a fullback has delivered the goods.
And certainly you need it. You need players who can distribute that ball, cross that ball, whether it's the through balls, whether it's crosses from left to right, whether it's just switching the play. Have to have players capable of doing so. And you have to make sure it feeds into that budget as well, the 13 million budget that these players have to build these squads, and you have to feature 5 MLS players past or present. As Jafonso has had the majority of possession so far, as here's Palmer that we were speaking of, doesn't go for the cross, instead it's just a pass into Messi. Back to Palmer now as Jafonso trying to work his way into this box, not looking to lump it just yet. Instead it's more strategic, it's more methodical, but it is denied, and now here comes K1John and Inter Miami to try and launch that counter-attack, but it doesn't work out for them. Maybe this could be something, but no, it's denied.
And I love that almost draft element where you have some squad mixology in terms of personal preference, but how to work within your budget and then prioritizing different positions. We've seen a lot of players try to manipulate those fullbacks because of the crossing.
What a ball that is for Lionel Messi. Does he take it on his left? No, he doesn't. He tried to play it across. And Van der Sar down to the ground quickly and keeps it at 0-0 here.
If you're reviewing that, if we rerun the opportunity, I think maybe a ball roll and try to attack the near post with the outside of the left foot, a little bit of a Travella. It might sound funny saying it, but if you played a lot of FC, it lines up, it makes sense.
I also don't hate taking it on Messi's right. I know he is a left-footed player, but that doesn't mean he's not capable of scoring. We've seen a few right-footed shots from Messi today. This is a great ball, though, for Jafonso, but it is going to be pulled back. It's offside. He's not quite going to have that clear-cut chance that he thought he may have, and now K1John and Inter Miami can now launch an attack of their own. Space on the right-hand side from the fullback, does cross it into the back post, nodded down by Haaland, into Mbappe, but denied by Van Dijk.
It's well defended, and you see the big switches. This has been part of the tactics, part of the approach play today. It will be the same tomorrow, next week, and probably next month. After some of the recent patches, the way that you take advantage of these larger, more physical players just to help you set up your offense, to give you more space to unlock, the way they can knock it down and they can kind of penetrate the back line.
Well, maybe attempting a penetrating pass now is Jafonso. Does find that room on the right-hand side. Now he's going to have to shift to the middle. Does so. It's David Ginola back into Erling Haaland. Can't quite beat Yashin. And again, it's strong defensive work from Yashin. Seems to be such an important factor in the defense of a lot of these teams here today.
I've been really impressed with Yashin as well, because we all know to have the likes of Virgil van Dijk. If you can afford him, pick up a version, you know what he's going to offer you, but it always comes down to, well, who's the partner in crime? Yashin has been up for the job.
It was a big switch from left to right. It was intercepted, and tell you what, look at that for a ball, and that's what you need. You need that kind of distribution. Wagner just about takes it down. And now Jafonso can look to launch a counter-attack here. Has Mateus in the middle. Into Lionel Messi. Through to Kylian Mbappe. Doesn't shoot, though, and it is going to be just gathered up and collected by K1John. Nothing to split the two after 20 minutes here.
Bit more of a stalemate, and what you're seeing that's different than some of their previous opponents, these guys are doing a better job with that last-ditch defending. They're locking down some of the aerial pursuit, but they're able to take the ball off of each other when it comes down to that final dribble, that last touch, something that's needed to manipulate.
That's a great ball. Doesn't quite get hold of it, though, and Palmer doing work defensively, but ball does go back, and Mbappe strikes, but it's saved by Van der Sar.
It's a good goalkeeper movement there from Van der Sar as well. First big mistake thus far, coming out of the back.
Here's Kevin De Bruyne. Can he get the shot away? Plays it across. Haaland! Oh, and it's again just gone out for another corner here, but it's K1John. It's Inter Miami, looking the more likely to score at the moment. Chance after chance. Can you get something here?
Wow.
Oh. Somehow that's gone wide.
And you see KDB with some of the providing, what he's known for. These deep-lying, almost playmaker types in the midfield have become so required, almost mandatory. They're evident, they're prevalent. They give you a different feel and a different look. The reason we talk about it so much, we speculate, is because in previous iterations, that just was never the case. Those guys typically got left off the lineup. They weren't on the call list.
Well, it's been a very different day for both of these players. For Jafonso, he's been scoring that first goal and then going on to dominate that game, going up 3 goals, going up 4 goals, and then just closing out that game in an impressive fashion by dominating the possession. For K1John, he has constantly gone a goal behind, but then come back to score 6, come back to score 7. But one of those records kind of has to change here in this grand final. But neither player able to find that breakthrough just yet. They are so evenly contested here. And I think you alluded to it, maybe a little bit of pressure off in some ways. Now the FCPro World Championship spot is secured, and you could really set your sights on becoming the eMLS champion here.
I honestly think it's better tactics between the two of them. They've both adjusted. They're taking away a lot of these wing options.
Here's Thierry Henry. Could get the first goal here. Shifts it across. Maybe finds one more. Van der Sar. Again, so strong between the sticks. It's played short from the corner. Here's Kylian Mbappe. Step overs get through, but not far enough as Mateus rescues.
And it's that last challenge, that little last piece of space. You can't unlock it. And it's not that they're not innovative. You're seeing a lot of different skill move packages. You're seeing different ways to approach the offense, to build up different runs being triggered.
What a ball for Palmer, but do you trust his shot? Doesn't get the chance to get the shot away. Great defensive work, but maybe a second chance here for Kylian Mbappe, but again, he can't get past the defense either.
If anything, that might be a detriment in that position. Cole Palmer's got the pace, got good size, but you kind of got to get it on his left foot, which means you need to be cutting inside. And in fact, even with the crossing, you're seeing Cole Palmer have to cut inside to whip in that back post to aim for Haaland. A little bit of a different tactic. It's I don't want to say unorthodox, but it's not that natural in-swinging motion that we're used to seeing. Typically, you would have a right footer on the right side, a left footer on the left side.
It does also become a little bit predictable if you've got a player who can only use one foot, but maybe that's why he went for the shot on the right there. It just wasn't quite quick enough. But still looking dangerous as now Mbappe is into the box, tries to dink one to the back post. Haaland somehow rescues it and keeps it alive here. Back to Mateus, thought about teeing one up, but instead keeps it alive by playing to Mbappe. Back out to Palmer, into Mbappe again, but the shot's denied. And Jafonso just can't get through this brick wall, or can he? As Mbappe now plays it back, and again the brick wall is so strong, and K1John defending his heart out right now.
Kevin De Bruyne with the strongest challenge we've seen. Able to match the power and the directness of Erling Haaland, who's been on display.
5 minutes left of the first half of this grand final, and it's a long raking ball to the right-hand side. It's brought down as well. Kylian Mbappe, can he get the shot away? Goes for the elastico. Maybe a shout for a penalty, but not quite enough to be pulled back. And now Jafonso can perhaps find an attack of his own here.
And this might be 0-0, but again, if you're an enthusiast around the game, there's so much happening in the details. From some of the defensive player switching, the micromanaging, the movement of simultaneous actions, the switching of the pitch, the recycling, the resurface, the skills, this changing of pace. You slow it down, you speed it up, and vice versa. A lot of different looks.
It's been pretty end-to-end, but just no one to get that clear-cut chance, that clear-cut opportunity, but maybe it could be one here for Jafonso.
Look at the tiki-taka, Dan.
Messi back to Mbappe, and Ginola getting involved as well, but again, Philipp Lahm is just there. He's present, he denies, and Jafonso can't quite get through, can't quite find that final pass that he's been searching for here, but maybe this could be the one. Here's David Ginola, and our opener for the New England Revolution. It's Jafonso taking a goal lead in the grand final.
And boy, did he have to earn it. He had to battle for it. Big interception, a little bit of a takeaway in the midfield. Couple quick passes. Finally, get through with Ginola. Holds off a defender. Enough of a turn. Generates some piece of space. Goalkeeper reaches, but just not quite.
Just before halftime as well. And if we are going to see trends continue today, Jafonso taking the lead here. Is it going to trend towards K1John going a goal behind and then coming back and battering his opponent? Or is Jafonso going to do what he has done all day long? Instead of just letting it sit at 1-0, he makes it 2, he makes it 3, he makes it 4. And in the semi-final, he made it 5. As he continues to press his opponent. But 45 minutes gone, 1-0 to New England Revolution against Inter Miami. And Jafonso has got 1 foot in the door here.
And regardless of how the second half goes, I don't think the word batter will be appropriate in terms of a scoreline. Just the way that they're moving, the free flow, there haven't been a lot of chances, and you got to give a lot of credit on the defensive end. Both these guys have moved players the way they step and they support the triangles that are being formed, the counter-attacking space that they're looking for. If anything, as long as it stays close, you also don't have to overcommit until much later stage.
Well, Jafonso has had a far better defensive record throughout the season. He's actually the second best defensive record that we've seen. Whereas K1John down in 10th in terms of his defensive record. So it's two very different approaches, because we also know that K1John is up there when it comes to goals for, but so is Jafonso. So it's really difficult to separate these two players and teams, and that's why we're seeing it such a close affair as the second half is underway. New England Revolution hold the lead at the moment. And here comes Jafonso to try and double up said lead. Evander into Mateus. Back to Evander, just working the middle at the moment, hoping that someone can break through and find an extra spot as Mbappe does get past the defender. Oh. And there's almost a calamity at the back, but Coronel holds strong.
It was a mistimed shot as well. I don't think it ever had a chance to actually beat Coronel. If anything, maybe being hopeful, hoping for a rebound. You see an early team press on, team press off, an offside trap. There's a lot happening here in terms of the tactical arrangement and everybody trying to outthink each other.
It's another long ball to the right-hand side. It's Courtois now on the pitch for K1John. Maybe just to match up against Erling Haaland, but also to show what he can do in the air as well. We have seen Courtois score today. Can he bring down this ball? No, he can't. Yashin will now play it across. So K1John still doing well defensively, but has to start showing some attacks of his own here. Has to show that he's going to be a threat to Jafonso's goal. Here he comes. Courtois, a couple of step overs, going to be a corner.
And a little bit of an issue is Courtois as an outlet player. As the provider, he's not ideal. He wants to be a secondary receiver, so it's almost as if you have two Haalands. 6'6" with Courtois, and then the 6'4" option with Haaland for the knockdowns.
There's a lot of big players on the wings at the moment. You need the big boys in the middle. You need someone to be able to knock that one down when the ball does come through. We have seen the meta very cross-heavy at times. Here's Courtois, who goes for said cross. Here's Haaland, and almost gets the equalizer for Inter Miami. A quick corner is taken. Messi receives the ball back, plays it into Erling Haaland now just on the floor rather than using his head, but New England Revolution holds strong.
Top tier defending again, doesn't get pulled out of position, waits for it, no bait and switch. Big interception, you start the attack. And the majority of the offense, at least if you ask Jafonso, he wants to run it through Cole Palmer. He'll wait for that switch.
He's coming forward again, is Jafonso. And there's the switch you were talking about. Palmer, plenty of space to work with. Shifts it onto his left foot, but just plays this one into the middle. Does have Mateus alongside him, but once more, K1John still wise to it. Still can see it coming. Still seems to know how Jafonso's going to play. And now he can try and launch an attack. Here's Haaland. Does get contested, though, and Haaland can't get into the space he was looking for.
I think he anticipated some sort of player switch there. He had the pass. Haaland could have given it right back to him in the middle of the pitch. Options open up.
Was a good interception, though, from K1John, but Haaland leaps and bounds above everyone else, quite literally. and wins the ball back now for Jafonso. Messi just turning on himself, just waiting for a little bit of support, waiting for those fullbacks to make the same runs. Instead, though, finds Mbappe through the middle, and maybe Haaland can strike, but again, it's a good save. The goalkeepers have been so important in this matchup. Here's a corner, tries to find Haaland, oh, it's gone in! It's just about gone over the line. It was so close for Lahm to be able to stop it, but it's over the head. It's a bicycle kick from Haaland to make it 2-0 to New England.
And he catches K1John sleeping there, whips it in, full extension. We would have liked to see it hit the back of the net. I don't think we can deny VAR when it comes to an FC replay, but it looked like Lahm was on the line.
The whole ball crossed from what I can see. But as you say, it's programmed to be that way for FCPro, so 2-0 now for Jafonso, and he's just managed to win the ball back again. And is this going to be the turn of the tide? Where Jafonso just starts to move away a little bit, break away from what has been a very closely contested game. Has that cushion to work with. A little bit of wiggle room as now does find Mbappe, and he's going to wiggle with him. Can he get the ball across? Goes for the shot in the end, and K1John just quickly scoops it away to make sure he gets it out of danger zone.
K1John's got a lot of time, so it just comes down to if we can get something on the board. You can't rush. We've both played a lot of FC. Whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, advanced player, rushing your offense, rushing your defense, none of that is going to turn into
any magic. But if you take your time, it might just result in a chance. But sadly, Jafonso has just been holding so strong in terms of his defensive capabilities, and if this is onside, this could be a problem, but it is going to be offside, as Jafonso just a little bit annoyed with that when he thought maybe he had a chance to make it 3.
Yeah, I was going to say a positive action or maybe even a consequence. It just, rushing just doesn't work. Timing is so important in this game.
What does Lahm have? It's a pass into Mbappe, manages to get a second chance, and again it's another save. Without Van der Sar, I mean, this could be 2-2, let's be honest, as Mbappe plays it out. It's a quick corner again. Ginola tracking back to defend with the rest of his team, but it's De Bruyne who wins the ball, but Evander finds the end of it. We've not seen necessarily as much clear-cut chances for K1John.
Took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, in general, even for Jafonso, it hasn't been a game full of a bunch of clear-cut opportunities. A lot of half chances on both sides.
K1John could do with a clear-cut chance to get him back into this game. 18 minutes now remain in the grand final here of the eMLS Cup, and this could be one of them. Mbappe, though, turns back, finds Messi, back to Mbappe, but it's not clear-cut. There's too many defenders, and Jafonso is tracking it so well.
But you have to credit that defense. I mean, the reading of the game, because he's manipulating offensive players so well. And again, I talk about it, it's the ins and the outs. You're looking at high levels of creation. Players are being inventive. You're giving you even maybe some pioneering with some of the storytelling.
Messi, he's managed to recover that ball. Mbappe, one more, it's on, it's 3! And it's gone over the line again. It was so close to being cleared. Similarly to the second goal, but that might have done it. The New England Revolution find themselves 3 goals ahead here. And just looking at it on the side of K1John, headphones are off. Looking a little dejected now is the Inter Miami man.
I don't think he's got enough time to work it out, especially with the way that Jafonso's been defending. You can't take away K1John's squad. They play for the badge. All-out effort.
I mean, the difference is mere millimeters to what could still be a 1-0 game. 2 shots that were almost cleared off the line, but just had crossed. And sadly for K1John, it's the realization of now only, 15 minutes, maybe even less in game to try and come back into it. And the fact that the headphones are off, I think, tells me a lot.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be frustrated because he's made a lot of chances, but again, they haven't been that clean, that crispy, that 1v1, that sure thing. They've always been inside the box. You needed the extra touch or the knockdown, or it was a bit more of a 50-50 in some of the 1v1s, or even the crosses or the headers. And nothing's hit the back of the net. And again, you got to credit Jafonso. I mean, we can revert back. K1John's previous game, he scored 9 goals against Racing. Before that, 8 goals against the likes of Palinetto. Right now, he's got a goose egg. Nothing on the board.
We look at the trend of Jafonso and how he's been playing today. It's what he's been doing to his opponents. Taking a 2 or 3 goal lead and then just controlling that game, not allowing them back in.
Wow.
And this could be the final nail in the coffin. Erling Haaland tries to turn, does not beat the man. And it's still just about a small lifeline here for K1John if he can score from this attack. Ginola does manage to shrug off Wagner. Has the support. Messi's alongside him. Gets to Messi, into Mbappe, but no shot gets away. Van Dijk, as strong as he's ever been, manages to hold possession here for Jafonso.
And it's the recovery, the lack of mistake, generally speaking, getting out of the back. The reading of the game, the interceptions, the steps, the timing, the offside traps. Jafonso's had everything in this game defensively.
Well, Messi wins the ball back, but Mateus doing his defensive work to ensure that Jafonso can hold on to this one and keep possession. Most importantly, keep the ball away. But at the same time, he could put that final nail in the coffin that I was talking about. Mbappe, he shimmies past him. 4 for Jafonso, 4 for New England Revolution. And the eMLS Cup is about to be his. There is just not enough time for Inter Miami and K1John. And if he could wrap this up with a clean sheet as well, Mike, it would really be a statement.
And the irony, the entirety of the day, the only clean sheet that we would have in any of the matchups happens in the finals. The ball roll there opens up space so well. I always talk about this, but if you're getting into FC and you want the skill moves, start with the basics. The ball rolls, the fake shots, the step overs. The universal skills are always the most effective.
So 7 minutes remain for K1John and Jafonso here. But the result at this point is inevitable. And it's been a fantastic day for both of them. And they both have the reward of being FCPro World Championship competitors by winning the semi-final and getting to this final. So it's not all doom and gloom, but it could be 5 here. Oh, and he's putting on a show for us as well. It's fancy, it's delicate, it's entertainment at its very finest. But it also is rubbing salt in the wounds here.
Makes me think back on a Balotelli moment. Didn't quite go that way, but what a finish. What a conversion. The flair 1v1 Mbappe. Talk about seeing the game a little bit quicker than your opposition. 5-0 in a final. Wow.
And he's on track to be back-to-back champion then from LS2 into eMLS Cup. We've not seen back-to-back champions since Paulo Neto, and he went on a streak of 4 championships, 5 finals in a row, and perhaps Jafonso could be the next to try and break that record, but we'll have to wait until next year for that to happen. For now, we can just talk about what an incredible day it has been for Jafonso. He has annihilated his opponents here, and you said that battering wasn't going to be a part of the day, Mike, but 5-0, I mean, it's still one-sided.
I think if you wanted to use the word batter, we'd have to accept it. It ended up being fitting, and I mean, it's not by accident. Again, it's not as if we're talking about K1John hitting the post a bunch of times or there being so many opportunities. There's just the steps and the organization and the structure. Defensively, it's been perfect.
Well, 2 minutes of added on time.
Oh!
And 2 minutes of showmanship, of entertainment value from Jafonso as he wants to try and make it 6 here to really put the icing on the cake as Erling Haaland's through. And it is going to be absolute magic. Give him that trophy. Give him that title. Because Jafonso has been undeniably unstoppable when it comes to his gameplay today. Carrying on from where he left off in LS2. An unbelievable player here today.
I mean, the touch and go, the build-up, how he gets out of the back, a couple step overs, extra pass, gives it to Haaland. You see the 4-star skills, of course, with the upgraded Haaland. Takes it with the heel to ball roll around the goalkeeper, slight hesitation, taps it home. 6-0, was there any doubt? My goodness.
Well, and as the final whistle blows, a new champion is crowned. Your eMLS 2024 champion, Jafonso of the New England Revolution. What an amazing day from that young man, 19 years old. Both competitors in this grand final were 19 years old. But are we going to see another historic run as he goes back-to-back from LS2 into eMLS Cup? And quite rightly now, we'll go over to shake the hand of his opponent. 2 very deserving finalists, Mike, but in the end, there was one very clear winner.
No denying it, no doubt about it. I said it early on, well maybe not early on, but I said when we got to the finals that these are the two guys that deserve to be here. And I think we have to walk away with the same feeling about Jafonso being the eMLS Cup champion. I mean, 6-0, kept the clean sheet, scored for fun, gave you a little bit of that showmanship, a lot of smiles, we saw tears, we saw drama. The day was a bit of a roller coaster, and there was a ton of goals being scored.
And you can see the bracket there and how his day went, and it's the only clean sheet of the day, which is what's even more impressive, to do it in the grand final. Taking down Alan Arby 7-1, goes on to beat Ollie Lito, the European 5-2, and then the grand final a 6-0. Demolishing in the end for Jafonso, and the New England Revolution will be the eMLS Cup champions of 2024. I mean, I guess we should have somewhat expected it after his LS2 performance here, Mike.
And I'll tell you what, the power rankings got it right.
Yeah?
The power rankings got it right. Congratulations to Jafonso. I've been impressed across the board. I'm happy that the Revs picked him up. And both of these gentlemen are qualified now for FCPro.
The FCPro World Championship is what's going to be next for Jafonso.